Hello viewers, welcome to Kids Auto and Truck Repair. Today we have a 2021 Ford Explorer. The customer complaint on this vehicle is the four-wheel drive light remains on the dash, and the customer says that the transmission seems like it does not upshift. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go in the vehicle so we can confirm the customer's complaint. Let's see if the four-wheel drive light remains on the dash. And after that, we're gonna talk about what directions we're gonna go so we can figure out what's causing the four-wheel drive light to remain on the dash. So now let's go in the vehicle. I'm gonna start the engine so we can confirm the customer's complaint. So as you can hear, the engine is running. We have the traction control light on the dash. So right here. So there's a wrench that remains on the dash. The traction control light is on. And then we have a couple messages here on this dash display. Pre-collision assist not available. Service advanced track. And then four-wheel drive fault, service required. So there's a problem in the four-wheel drive system, okay? So the four-wheel drive system is not working on this vehicle. So right there, four-wheel drive fault, service required. So customer's complaint confirmed. So there's definitely a problem going on. Something is going on here. So we need to figure it out and fix the vehicle. So now I'm gonna turn off the engine. I'm gonna turn the key on. I'm gonna get a scan tool connected to the vehicle, and then I will bring you guys back up. I got the scan tool connected to the vehicle. I'm gonna bring it up. We're gonna scan all the control units on the vehicle and see what we got. But since we have a message that says service required for the four-wheel drive system, we will most likely focus on the four-wheel drive control unit. So right there, the scan tool has identified the vehicle, 2021 Ford Explorer, and this vehicle only has 61,000 miles. Okay, so this vehicle doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Let me zoom you in the dash so we can verify that. So right there, 61,040 miles. So this vehicle does not have a lot of miles, and I wondered if this vehicle is still under factory warranty. So I did a Google search. The results I got were a Ford Explorer is covered on factory warranty up to 36,000 miles or 3 years. And then the other one was 5 years or 60,000 miles. So this vehicle is just outside of warranty. So I might have to call our local Ford dealership just to double check, but that's what I found online. Let's see what we got here. So let's go to okay. So the vehicle has been identified. We're going to do a code scan. Let's scan all the control units and see what we got. So right off the bat, we don't have a code in the engine computer, no codes in the transmission control unit. So that's good. Our issue will most likely be in the four-wheel drive control unit. So let's wait until the scan tool finishes scanning all the control units on the vehicle. The scan tool is done scanning all the control units on the vehicle. Let's scroll down and see what we have. We have 4 codes in the ABS control unit. The first code is C1034-48, park brake supervision software failure. Interesting. And then the second one is U0102. So this is a communication code, lost communication with transfer case control module. And then the third one is U0146, lost communication with gateway A current DTC. And then the fourth code is U011D-87, lost communication with all-wheel drive control module missing message. So it looks like our all-wheel drive control unit is not communicating. So that's good to know. Let's scroll down and see what else we have. Let's see if we can find the four-wheel drive control unit listed here. We have one more message in the image processing module. And then we have two codes in the instrument cluster. What does it say? Lost communication with ECM. I'm sorry for the glare, guys. So the first code in the instrument panel is U0100, lost communication with ECM/PCMA. And then the second code is U011D, lost communication with all-wheel drive control module. Now, I don't know if you guys are noticing what I'm noticing right now. This lost communication with all-wheel drive control unit trouble code is listed in a couple control units. So we have the same code in the instrument panel. We have that code in the ABS. Okay, so that tells me something. The four-wheel drive control unit is most likely not talking in the network. So something is going on. And as you all know, to those of you that have been following me for a while, when we tackle communication trouble codes, we always check for power and ground to the module, to whatever module that's not communicating, because just like any other computer, you need good power and good ground to a control unit for that control unit to work. And if the control unit is getting good power and good ground, the next step will be testing our communication wires. So now, since we have a software code in the ABS control unit, this code over here, park brake supervision software failure, maybe we just have a software issue. Maybe we have an issue with a software that's causing all these codes. So that's possible. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to write down these trouble codes, and then I'm gonna go to my service information to see if I have any TSBs about these codes. If there isn't any TSBs about these codes, then we are going to focus on the lost communication with all-wheel drive control unit code, and we're gonna go to the four-wheel drive control unit module to test our powers and grounds to see if it's receiving good power and good ground. And after that, we're gonna check our communication wires for the four-wheel drive control unit, okay? Let's see if do we have the four-wheel drive control unit listed here? If we have it listed here, I'm gonna click on it to see if it's communicating. I don't see four-wheel drive here. So let's back out. Let's see if this vehicle is supposed to have it. Now, all these control units that you see over here, these are the control units that this vehicle is supposed to have. So let's scroll down and see if we can find our all-wheel drive control unit. So right here, all-wheel drive module. So I'm gonna click on it. Let's see if we can communicate with it. The key is on. All-wheel drive module, codes, memory codes. Let's see what we got. So we have 7 trouble codes in the four-wheel drive control unit. The first code is C00A6 and it says driveline control module, transfer case unit, control circuit driver, general electrical failure pending. And then we have the same code here, C00A5, driveline control module transfer case unit, control circuit driver, bus signal / message missing. And then we have C00A6, four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive transfer case unit actuator, circuit current below threshold. Same thing over here. So it looks like we have the same codes listed twice. And then over here, system voltage low pending. And then the last code is internal control module AD processing performance. So this could be a module issue or a module update issue. Okay, maybe the software of this module needs to be updated, because we can talk to the all-wheel drive control unit. So I'm gonna take a picture of all these trouble codes. I'm gonna save these codes. Since this vehicle is pretty new, it's not that old, and it doesn't have a lot of miles on it, I'm going to do some research about these codes. Maybe we just need a computer update to take care of these codes, and then we will go from there. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to my service info and look up these trouble codes. Let's see if we have a TSB about these trouble codes. Maybe we have to do a computer update to get rid of these codes, because this vehicle is fairly new. It only has 61,000 miles. So these control units should not be failing at this mileage. I mean, you never know. I mean, we can have a failed all-wheel drive control unit, but I'll be very surprised because this vehicle is almost new. Okay, so let me do my homework. I'm going to see if there's a TSB about these. If not, I might even have to call our local Ford dealership and ask them some questions about these to see if the factory warranty is going to cover this. But if not, you know, so maybe this vehicle just needs a computer update. So I'm going to do my research, and then I'll bring you guys back up so we can develop a game plan. Actually, before I do my homework, I'm gonna try to erase these trouble codes. Let's see if we can erase these codes. After we erase the codes, let's see which codes come back. So let's clear these codes. So we have erased the codes. Let's see if our codes are still there. So no codes present. Let's see. Let's see if the light went off on the dash. I'm gonna start the engine. So the light went off. Oh, right there. The message came back. Okay, four-wheel drive fault, service required. Okay, so we still have an issue. Although we erased the trouble codes, but the message is still there. We still have the message on the dash. Okay, so let me bring up our scan tool. Okay, let's back out. Let's read the codes again. Memory codes. Oh, right there. Our codes came back, all of them. So all our codes came back. I'm curious about this code over here, this last code. This code that says internal control module AD processing performance. This could just be a module issue. Okay, so I'm gonna go do my homework and then I'll bring you guys back up. I'm reading through my service info and here is what I have found. So this is our code over here. So code P060B, internal control module, AD processing performance. So over here, possible causes, it says this DTC sets when an error occurs in the PCM, module programming error, damaged PCM. So we could just have a programming issue here, okay? Because here's my scan tool. This is our code, okay? And we have the same code here. And our service info says that it could be a programming error or a defective PCM. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna call our local Ford dealership. I'm gonna tell them about this code and I'm gonna ask if there is a computer update about this. So I'm gonna get in touch with the Ford dealership and then I will bring you guys back up. I did call the Ford dealership off camera. I talked to one of the service guys at our local Ford dealership. I gave them the vehicle's VIN number. I gave them the code that we have in the four-wheel drive control unit. And I also told them about what I read from my service info. And he looked it up on their system. Then he confirmed that this all-wheel drive control unit needs to be updated. So the software on the four-wheel drive control unit needs to be updated. And he said while they have it there, they're also going to update the software in the PCM and the TCM and all the other control units. So I said, sure, I'm gonna bring the vehicle to you so you can do it, because I don't have the proper equipment to update a computer. He said, well, let me look at the schedule. So he looked at their schedule. He realized that they are 1 month out. So they are booked for 1 month. I'm gonna have to wait for a month for them to look at this vehicle and do the all-wheel drive computer update on this vehicle. I told them that's too long. The customer is not gonna wait for that. He said, well, I'm sorry. I mean, we would like to get you in sooner, but it's gonna be a couple weeks from now. So that's a bummer. I told them if anything happens, if there's a customer that cancels, they should call me back and let me know. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna call around and figure out if there is someone else in the area that can come out here and update the four-wheel drive control unit for us. And after that, this will be fixed. So I thought this was gonna be an interesting video. I mean, I don't know, you guys let me know, because I mean, this didn't go the way I wanted it. I thought we were gonna, chase wires and stuff, but it ended up being a video where I just had to make phone calls and read service information. So I guess what we can learn from this is the importance of having the right service info, because you can chase your tail if you don't have the right service info, because we could have looked at the wiring. I'm sure if we check the wiring right now, this control unit is getting good power and good ground. There is an internal failure in this control unit. It's either the control unit is failing or the software needs to be updated. I'm glad we have the service info. We read, we're not chasing our tail. So we're gonna leave this right over here. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls and call some friends and see if I can find someone to come out here and do the all-wheel drive control unit update so that the customer can get his car back. But if not, we're gonna have to wait for a couple weeks until our local Ford dealership can do it. So I'm gonna leave this right over here. We have our appointment today. So today is the day I'm gonna take this vehicle in so they can update the software on the four-wheel drive control unit. Once they have the vehicle there, they're gonna check all the control units and make sure that all the control units on the vehicle are up to date. Okay, so let's go to the dealership. I don't think they're gonna allow me to walk in there with the camera. So I'm gonna show you the front of the dealership and then I will turn off the camera. After that, I will bring you guys back up when they're done updating the control units on the vehicle. They told me it's gonna take about an hour or two, okay? So now let's go to the dealer. So we still have our messages on the dash. Four-wheel drive fault, service required. Okay, so let's take this thing to the dealer. It's really foggy today, and I don't know if you guys will see. So here is the Ford dealership. This is the Ford sign. I hope you can see it right there. Okay, so we're gonna get in here We're gonna go to the service department. Frederick Moore Company. Okay. So right here. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the camera. I will bring you guys back up after this is done. About 2 days later, we are back here at the Ford dealership. I'm picking up this Ford Explorer. The Ford Explorer has been fixed. The engine is running right now. There are no lights on the dash. The service writer at the Ford dealership told me that they had to replace the four-wheel drive control unit. They tried updating the software in the four-wheel drive control unit, but they told me that the four-wheel drive control unit was not taking the software update. So they had to replace the entire four-wheel drive control unit. Now, since the owner of this vehicle bought this vehicle at this dealership, when she bought the vehicle, she also bought the extended warranty. So her extended warranty was able to cover the four-wheel drive control unit that they had to replace. So that was covered. She's not going to pay for that, but they charged us a fee to program the new four-wheel drive control unit that they installed. So now let's go on a test drive. I'm sure it's going to drive well, because before, as soon as I started the engine, there were a couple of messages on the dash. I don't see any of them right now. I'm sure once we test drive this vehicle, this is going to drive well. Let's see how this is going to go, and then we're going to wrap up this video. I'm sure we're going to have another happy customer. So let's go on a test drive. Let's drive out of here. So vehicle drives well. I gotta put my seat belt on. All right, so I got my seat belt on. So we are leaving the Ford dealership. As you can see, we got no lights on the dash. So this is good. Yeah, this is fixed. Nice. This is really good. Very good. Okay. So far so good. Yeah, this is fixed. We don't have to drive far. I'm gonna drive around these buildings and then we're gonna wrap up this video. So this is good, guys. It's fixed. We're good. This is fixed. As you can see, there are no more lights on the dash. So we're good to go. So now let's wrap up this video. I'm gonna turn off the engine. Let me start it one more time. As you can see, we're good. I'm gonna leave this right over here. This Ford Explorer is fixed. What we can learn from this video is the importance of having the right service info. We read our service info. We followed what the service info told us. I looked for technical service bulletins. We figured out the issue. We took it to the Ford dealership so they could program the four-wheel drive control unit. They ended up replacing it. Now all is well. Now, I'm outsourcing some of this stuff right now because I don't have the equipment to program control units and do control unit updates like engine computer, transmission control unit, or ABS control unit programming or update. I'm not doing it yet, but I will start doing it in the future. Eventually, I'm going to invest in that kind of tooling. And once we have it here in the shop, I will start showing you how to do that. You basically have to have, a couple laptops, because I work on so many makes and models. I try not to specialize. I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there who say specializing is better. You can just work on one make or one specific brand. I love the aspect of being good at one thing, because when you become good at one particular brand or make or model, you become so efficient at it, you become so fast, you can anticipate things. It's good, but for me, it's kind of boring, just doing the same stuff over and over. I like the variety of doing, of working on a lot of makes and models. I work on gas engine, diesel engines, trucks, cars. I like that variety. I work on school buses too. So to me, what makes it fun is working on a lot of makes and models. But some people don't like that, and that's okay, to each his own. So I would like to be able to program these modules for multiple makes and models. So like, for example, Toyotas, Fords, BMWs, Mercedes. And if we do that, we're gonna have to have separate tools or separate interface or subscriptions and all these other stuff that you need to do that. So we will start doing that in the future. Just stay tuned. We are working on it. And as we acquire that equipment, I will start showing it to you, because my goal is to do everything in-house, whether it's diagnostics, mechanical repair, brakes, programming, alignment, everything, inspection. We will start doing everything in one specific shop. So we will get there. We have a long ways to go, but slowly and surely we will get there. So thank you very much for being here. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, criticism, leave them in the comment box. Thank you very much. See you next time.